And welcome back to Scalino's Field for Game 2 of a doubleheader between the Inland Valley Pirates and Palm Springs Power. Well, if you missed Game 1, boy, did you miss a lot. First of all, the Pirates ended up winning 3-2. Andrew Alvarez went 8 in the third innings pitched. And then all of a sudden, as the Pirates are leading 3-0, gives up 3 hits in a row in the ninth inning. One of them is an RBI double that makes it 3-1. Then there's a wild pitch from the new pitcher, A.J. David, who came in to replace him, which makes it 3-2. And the tying run is on third base. But A.J. David strikes out 2, gets out of the jam, and the Pirates win. And that means they are now 2-1 in the season series, which means even with a loss today, and obviously the Pirates aren't thinking about that, but even a loss in Game 2, they've done something that nobody has done since 2008, and that's split with the Pirates. First pitch, swung on, towering fly ball to shallow center field. Michael Johnson has it under control, and that'll be the first out of the game. And the first out of Game 2 of the doubleheader. The person who flew out on that was Burcham, who also led off in the last game for the Power. And the pitcher on the mound is the large right-handed pitcher from Loyola Marymount, Kevin Glom. Kevin Glom was actually in the running for Pitcher of the Week this past week, as this one misses low, ball 1-0 the count to Hayden Nielsen. I had convinced Team San Diego to vote for him, but the Power went with their own guy, so he was not chosen as the Pitcher of the Week. I actually told him that story before the game, so maybe he's going to get angry and take it out on the Power. Of course, we'd love nothing more than that. As we're just about underway, or we're just in the early goings, I should say. Line drive over towards the shortstop, Varela. He has it under control, but it's a throw down the line. David makes the catch and applies the tag. So they get the 6-3 put out the tough way. But it's the second out here, nonetheless, for Kevin Glom. Well, Kevin Glom this last week actually tossed 8 in the third innings, won 1 game, struck out 7. And that was just in this last week. And actually, he was the pitcher of record in a game that he pitched for the Buccaneers, believe it or not. And the Buccaneers ended up blowing the game. So he could have been 2-0 for the week, as this is a breaking pitch that hits the hitter Howarth in the helmet. So that'll be the first base runner here for the Palm Springs Power in Game 2. Well, in Game 1, in the 5th inning, it was Jacob Bernardi who blasted the line drive double down the third base line and into left field, scoring the first run of the game. And then Greg Espinosa actually scored a run on a bunt with 2 strikes by Johnny Reynoso to make it 2-score game. And this is a fly ball to right center field that'll get down for a base hit in front of the center fielder Varela. So all of a sudden the Power have 2 men on base here on the single by Hunter Benning. Hunter Benning in the cleanup spot in this game actually did not play in the first game, as we have the number 5 hitter, another guy who did not play in the first game for the Power, Jordan Zimmerman, the third baseman, to come to the plate here with 2 outs in the top of the first inning. Kevin Glom, 6'5", 225, will be a senior at Loyola Marymount next season. He has athletics oozing through his blood, does Kevin Glom. Working out of the stretch and checking the runner at second. Now checking again and finally firing home. This pitch misses for ball 1-0 the count here to Jordan Zimmerman. There are 2 runners on base. It was Howlett on second, who was hit by a pitch, and Hunter Benning, who hit the line drive in the right center. That was after Glom retired the first 2 hitters. Burcham flew out to center field, and Nielsen grounded out to short, breaking ball in the dirt for ball 2. We were just mentioning that Kevin Glom comes from a very talented athletic family. His father, Christian, played at Santa Clara for basketball. His brother, Michael, played at Loyola Marymount, as we're going to get time, and Greg Espinosa is going to give some words of encouragement to Kevin Glom. But his brother, Michael, played at Loyola Marymount for baseball, and that was basically a huge selling point and reason why he chose to go to Loyola Marymount and kind of follow in his brother's footsteps. And his sister also went to Loyola Marymount, where she plays volleyball. So all 4 members of that family playing Division I athletics. Ground ball hit over to the second baseman Espinoza, and he'll flip it out to second base for the force out, and that'll do it for the top of the first inning. And at the end of 1/2 inning of play, there's no score from Cal Poly Pomona. And welcome back as we head to the bottom of the first inning in Game 2 of the doubleheader. The Pirates winning Game 1, 3-2. Here is the starting lineup for the Inland Valley Pirates as Matthew Reynoso steps up to the plate for the first time of the day. Squares around and takes strike one in at the knees, 0-1 the count. Brooks Kursk is the starting pitcher, 6'3", 192 from USC. A Trojan for the Palm Springs Power. Fastball swung, towering fly ball, out of play, behind home plate, and it's 0-2 to Reynoso. It'll be Matt Reynoso leading off. Channing Varela at shortstop is batting second. Andrew Alvarez, the right fielder, batting third. A.J. David, the first baseman, is the cleanup hitter. George Ortega, the designated hitter, is the number 5 hitter, as Reynoso fouls this one off towards the third base side. And the number 6 batter will be Anthony Virgin, the third baseman. The number 7 batter is number 7, Michael Johnson. High fly ball, foul, but it's playable for the third baseman, who makes an interesting catch there. He kind of overran it a little bit and then caught it back across his head to retire Matt Reynoso. Then batting 8th will be Dylan Lowenstein, the catcher, and last but not least is Greg Espinosa batting 9th. Bottom of the first inning, 1 out. Game 2 just underway after the Pirates riding momentum from the win in Game 1. This one swung and fouled out of play and behind home plate by Varela. Channing Varela is the shortstop for this game. Actually, we see a lot of new faces in for Game 2 of the doubleheader. Pretty much Andrew Alvarez and Greg Espinosa. Those are the only two that played in Game 1 that are in the lineup again for Game 2. Breaking pitch misses outside, and it's 1-1. A.J. David did come in to close the game, but he just came in as a closer in that Game 1. Obviously, he'll be hitting here in Game 2. Fastball swung on, towering fly ball to straightaway center field, and Pollock has it under control and makes the grab for the second out here in the first inning. So 2 down, bottom of the first inning. Andrew Alvarez, the right fielder in this game, will step up to the plate right here, right now. The man that's really was the story of Game 1, going 8 in the third and only allowing the couple of runs in that 9th inning that were charged to him after A.J. David came in. But Alvarez was really cruising, and he was almost untouchable for specifically 8 innings. Breaking pitches in there, called a strike to Alvarez. Alvarez wearing his blue and Orange Coast College helmet. Late kicking, here's the pitch. Swan, line drive to the right side. It's going to one-hop over to the second baseman and get through as Alvarez reaches base. And A.J. David now walks up to the plate. A.J. David with 43 RBI this past season at the junior collegiate level. That was second in the state. Did that with San Bernardino Valley College and will be headed to Cal Baptist this coming fall. He was a all-state selection both seasons at San Bernardino Valley, as this one comes in there on the inside corner, called strike 1, and 0-1 the count to the 6'2", 200-pound left-handed hitter. I mean, you look at his numbers hitting-wise, and his hitting numbers were just incredible. As a freshman, he hit .386 and had a .443 on-base percentage, and .327 and a .410 on-base percentage as a sophomore at San Bernardino Valley. On deck is George Ortega, swung and fouled behind home plate by David, so David falls in an 0-2 hole. Had to catch our breath after that first game. It was the Pirates really that pretty much dominated the game, and they were up 3-0 heading into the 9th inning. And really, they had a couple of chances. They had 3 chances, runners on second and third. Swung and missed, strike 3, down goes David. But they had 3 chances with runners on second and third. that they couldn't like really break the game open. I mean, they had the chance to break the game open, and then Power came through with 2 in the 9th, but A.J. David closed the door. At the end of 1 inning here, in Game 2 of the doubleheader, it's scoreless at Cal Poly Pomona. To the top of 2 we go, no score between the Power and Pirates. Just underway in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Pirates winning Game 1 as Gom comes inside for strike 1 to Nate Pollock. As we were sort of trying to mention, you really just got to kind of catch your breath after the way Game 1 ended. Fastball inside, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Because all of a sudden, it was very nerve-wracking for the Pirates, who really dominated the game until that 9th inning. Kevin Glom takes a deep breath and now fires, and it's called strike 2, 1-2 the count. Kevin Glom's hometown is San Jose and went to Bellarmine College Prep, where he was a 2-sport star there. Also played football. Breaking pitch in the dirt, and it's 2-2. Of course, he was the team captain in an all-conference selection back in high school. Put up a ridiculous ERA in high school at Bellarmine College Prep, 0.94. Called strike 3. Down goes the hitter, and that is the first strikeout here for Kevin Glom of Nate Pollock, as there's a little bit of chatter in that first base dugout of the Pirates. Of course, it's kind of like reverse colors here. Pirates in their customary red shirts, red hats, while the Power, meanwhile, are in white shirts with red trim and white hats. It's pretty much like the opposite. Breaking pitch into the dirt, ball 1, 1-0 the count to Brandon Gomez. Gomez is new to this game. Power only with 4 new hitters here in this Game 2. Pirates with 7 new position players. We'll give you the defensive alignment right now because the game started pretty quickly and we didn't get the chance to do that in the first inning. It's Matt Reynoso in left, Michael Johnson in center, Andrew Alvarez in right, Anthony Virgin at third base. Fastball misses inside. Channing Varela at shortstop. Craig Espinosa at second. A.J. David at first. And behind the plate, Dylan Lowenstein. Here's the pitch. Fastball on the outside corner called strike. Kevin Glom. Of course, none of the 17 returning players for the Inland Valley Pirates. Lake Egan here's the pitch. Fastball swung, bounce, 2-hopper over to Anthony Virgin. He has it under control. Double clutches, and it's a roller over to A.J. David, and A.J. David backhands it, and that'll do it for Brandon Gomez, and that's the second out here in the second inning. So A.J. David already making a couple nice digs over there at first base. He made a nice dig on a throw from the shortstop Varela back in the first inning. That was also the second out of that inning as he makes that nice play over here for the second out of the second inning. And up comes Zach Sterry. Well, if you were listening to the first game of the doubleheader, the story was the pitcher's duel that broke out as Andrew Alvarez was just absolutely sensational for the Inland Valley Pirates. This one swung on a line drive to deep center field. Michael Johnson has the track on it and makes the catch, kind of almost catching it like a receiver would catch a pass from a quarterback, running up, opening up his hips at a 90-degree angle and catching it over his shoulders to make that final out. So at the end of 1.5 innings of play, there's still no score in Game 2 from Cal Poly Pomona. And welcome back to Scalino's Field on the campus of Cal Poly Pomona. George Ortega set for his first cuts of the day. Takes this one high and over his head for a ball 1. 1-0 the count after the pitch was nowhere near the zone from the right-hander Brooks Curse, the USC Trojan. So the Power running out 2 Pac-12 pitchers to start these games, as this one misses low for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Always nice when you can run out 2 Pac-12 pitchers. Morgan Ehrman, of course, the one in the first game, swung on and fouled back at the screen. 2-1. He was the one that had that duel against Andrew Alvarez, but Andrew Alvarez getting the better of him and getting the better of the Power for the second time this season. Misses high, and it's 3-1. But you like to see George Ortega with a 3-1 count because he has a lot of pop behind his bat, a lot of power for the senior to be at Lewis and Clark State, where he won an NAIA World Series. Swings and misses at the 3-1, well out of the zone on a pitch that was low and away, a fastball. Ortega is the number 5 hitter in the lineup. Then we'll have Anthony Virgin and Michael Johnson in this inning. Here's the pitch, swung on and chopped towards the left side, and the shortstop, Bertram, he fires across the diamond for the first out of the inning. So 1 down here in the bottom of the second inning as Anthony Virgin steps up to the plate. It's interesting if you look at the Powers defensive alignments that Bertram now is at shortstop and Nielsen shifted over to second base. Nielsen made a lot of plays at shortstop in the first game. Surprised to see him moving to second as this one misses high and in for ball 1 to Virgin. Anthony Virgin, the older brother to Nathan by 11 months. This one misses low and away for ball 1. 1-1 the count. 6'0", 200-pound right-handed hitter. Played at Orange Coast College his freshman year. Didn't play this past season, but is going to Citrus College now. Swings at this one and lines it in the left field for a base hit. So the Pirates are in business here in the second inning. On the line drive base hit to left field by Anthony Virgin. Here comes Michael Johnson. Of course, Virgin and Johnson both returning members of the Inland Valley Pirates. We were talking about that a little bit with Kevin Glom on the mound in the last half inning, how there's 17 returning players, and with good reason. This is a very, very good team, very fun team to be around. Pitch misses high, as it sounds like there's a lot of chatter right now in the dugout for the Inland Valley Pirates. Michael Johnson, 6'0", 170, right-handed hitter that, of course, feels at home right there in the batter's box because he plays here for Cal Poly Pomona, one of 7 Broncos on the Inland Valley Pirates. On deck is the number 8 hitter, Dylan Lowenstein. Bounces this one. It was a hit and run, and the runner will get to second. And Johnson will be thrown out at first, but Virgin does advance into second and is in scoring position, while Dylan Lowenstein now removes his leg gear and runs up to the plate. Of course, Dylan Lowenstein coming in for Christian Kelly, Dylan Lowenstein obviously starting this game, but Christian Kelly started the first game at catcher, and he took the running game out for the Power. Breaking pitch on the inside corner, called strike 1, 0-1 the count. I mean, the very first time and only time the Power tried stealing, they were caught stealing, and Kelly just gunned it down to second base, and it wasn't even close, really. The Power decided better of attempting to be aggressive on the base paths the rest of that game. This one's fouled by Lowenstein, so it's really going to be a question of whether Dylan can do the same thing here in Game 2. Kind of hold the Power base runners in check like Christian Kelly did. And then obviously for a catcher, anything you get at bat will be an added bonus. But Christian Kelly's been getting a lot of added bonuses if you consider hits for catchers an added bonus. Breaking pitch in the dirt, gets away by the catcher, and advancing 90 feet in the third base is Anthony Virgin. So the Pirates hoping to maybe plate a run here in the second inning and take another lead on the Power in Game 2. Dylan Lowenstein, 6'1", 205, right-handed hitter, playing for Mount San Antonio College. Not too far from here, pretty much right down the street. Breaking pitch in the dirt again, and this time Young makes a good stop. Because if that one had gotten away from Young, Virgin might have been able to come home and score. Lowenstein will have to protect the plate with a 2-strike count. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, strike 3, and down he goes. At the end of 2 innings, it's starting to look a little bit like the first game in the sense that there have been no runs between the Pirates and Power. Welcome back to the top of three we go in the second game of the doubleheader, Pirates and Power. No score. Pirates winning the first game 3-2. Pirates actually scored the first 3 runs, and the Power scoring 2 in the ninth, but held on as A.J. David came in for the save. Nice breaking pitch in there for called strike 1 from Kevin Glom. Kevin Glom last season with the Pirates had a 2.60 ERA, 16 strikeouts in 17 and a third innings pitch. Another nice breaking pitch in there and another called strike, and it's 0-2 to the catcher A.J. Young. This season, Kevin Glom having another solid season and a go of it so far. Swung on and missed, strike 3, and that is the second strikeout here for Glom, and 2 and a third innings. But the ball actually on the throw from Lowenstein to third base got past Virgin, and the dugout was giving Virgin some grief over there at the hot corner. Got to be ready for it, but that is the obviously first out here in the third inning on a strikeout as Burcham comes up to the plate. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out to center field in this game. Kevin Glom this season, before today, as this pitch misses low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, 15 strikeouts, 2.16 ERA, and a 1.12 whip. Fastball overthrown, and it's 2-0. If you don't know what whip is, because it is baseball lingo, and lots of people who especially play fantasy know what it is. Whip is walks and hits per inning pitched. So that means he's just allowing about 1 per inning. Another fastball high, and it's 3-0. Kevin Glom is a business administration major at Loyola Marymount. Called strike on a 3-0 count. That was one of those 3-0 pitches that if it's anywhere near the zone, the umpire is going to call it a strike. This one is inside, and that'll be a 5-pitch walk drawn here for Hayden Nielsen. Or actually, that was Burcham. Burcham, the leadoff hitter, drawing a walk here. As now you have the number 2 hitter in Hayden Nielsen at the plate, who is 0 for 1 with a ground out. Time called by Charlie Reynoso already, pretty early in the game, to call time and check on Kevin Glom. And he's got a quick hook on Glom. Glom is taken out of the game. And in comes Jordan Sheffs for the Inland Valley Pirates. We'll step away for a few moments and come back in just a few moments. And welcome back as we remain in the top of the third inning. Kevin Glom walked the second hitter in the inning after striking out the first. Bunt is fouled behind home plate. 0-1 the count to Hayden Nielsen. But it was a very quick hook for Kevin Glom as he went 2 1/3, and he was looking pretty good. But the walk here, and he gets the hook, and in comes Jordan Sheffs. So you go from one D1 pitcher to the next. Breaking pitch in the dirt, misses for a ball as Lowenstein stops it and makes sure that the runner does not advance 90 feet. But it's always a good thing to be able to do that and basically take out a pitcher from Loyola Marymount, and in comes a pitcher from UC Irvine. This one misses low for a ball from Sheffs. Sheffs just made his first appearance this Saturday against the Buccaneers, going 2 innings after making his way back from Omaha. Pickoff throw to first, and the runner stays up on his 2 feet. 6'2", 185-pound right-handed pitcher. Fires low and away for ball 3, and it's 3-1. Time called for by Lowenstein. Like I said, it was very interesting because it didn't look like there were any signs of trouble for Kevin Glom. And he started the game and only goes 2 1/3. But now we've moved on to Jordan Sheffs. Sheffs allowing 1 run in that 2 innings against the Buccaneers. This one swung and driven through the right side hole for a base hit. So that's a single here for Hayden Nielsen, as Burcham will now move up into second base. And Jake Howlett comes up, the number 3 hitter and a really, really talented hitter for the Palm Springs Power, who has done a lot of damage with his bat. 476 batting average coming into today for Jake Howarth, the 6-foot, 200-pound junior at Texas Wesleyan. Top of the third inning, 1 out, no score at Scalinos Field on the campus of Cal Poly Pomona. Chefs comes set in the stretch, fires, Swan driven to the left side, and it gets through the diving Varela, rounding third and coming home to score is Scotty Burcham, and it's 1-0 Power. So an RBI single for Jake Howarth makes it 1-0 here in the third inning. And there's still 2 runners on base for the cleanup hitter, Hunter Benning. It's about as animated and as loud as the Palm Springs Power dugout has been all day as they take the lead for the first time all day. Big breaking pitch, and Hunter Benning checks his swing, and I guess he held up there. And so it's 1-0 to Benning. Benning hitting .364 for the Palm Springs Power this season. Very, very large right-handed hitter who's 1 for 1 in this game. Swings and misses at this one, and it's 1-1 to Benning. Benning plays for Northwest Florida State and is 6'5", 235. He does look 6'5", 235. Very intimidating presence at the plate is number 44. Chefs come set, fires, breaking pitch low for a ball. Jordan Chefs now going with a 2-1 count here against Hunter Benning. Chefs played at University High School in the LA area for his high school days. Breaking pitch in there and it's 2-2. At Uni, he was the MVP of the league and also an all-CIF selection 3 times. He actually holds the school records for strikeouts, innings, and wins at University High School as well. Checks the runner at second, nobody holding on. Here's the pitch. Breaking pitch Swan is driven to the left side over to the third baseman Version. Version gets the force at second, and the throw to first is not a good throw, and in comes a run, and it's 2-0 on an error. So Hayden Nielsen comes in to score. Jake Howarth is forced out at second base. And then Hunter Benning reaches second. Or Hunter Benning, yeah, he reaches second on the error. On the throw by the second baseman. So the Pirates fall in a hole here in Game 2, 2-0 in the top of the third inning. Obviously still 7 more at-bats, so still plenty of time for the Pirates to answer and come back in this game. Here is Jordan Zimmerman, 0 for 1, grounded out to the second baseman, Espinosa, and swings at the first pitch and hits it over to Varela. Varela charging and fires across the diamond for the final out of the inning, 6-3 on that putout, but the damage was done. 2 runs are scored by the Power, and they lead 2-0 at the end of 2.5 innings in Game 2. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the bottom of 3 we go. Here comes Greg Espinosa, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. He lines the first pitch he sees into right field over towards the right fielder Gomez, who makes the catch. So 1 pitch and 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning as we head back to the top of the lineup for the Pirates. And Matthew Reynoso 0 for 1, flew out to the third baseman in his first at-bat. On deck is Channing Varela. Here's the pitch. Fastball, called strike 1, 0-1 the count. The 0-1 offering is in there, swung on and lifted over towards the shortstop, who basically didn't have to move at all and makes the catch. It was a liner, but like we said, hit straight at Burcham for the second out of the inning. Here comes Channing Varela, 5'9", 170, right-handed hitter from Riverside City College. He'll be a sophomore there next year. Flies this one into shallow right center field, and that'll drop for a base hit. So Varela gets on base here with a 2-out single. And now comes Andrew Alvarez. Andrew Alvarez will get ready to take advantage of this opportunity with 2 outs. Brooks Chris still pitching for the Palm Springs Power. Of course, the USC Trojan on the mound for them. Varela takes his lead, a small one at that. Breaking pitch in at the knees, called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Andrew Alvarez. Andrew Alvarez, one of those stars, of course, of the first game. Really shutting down the Power for the second time this season. Something that no other pitcher has been able to do at all. Fastball high for ball 1. Andrew Alvarez, of course, headed to Houston Baptist, along with his buddy Greg Espinosa next season. Alvarez's favorite team is the Yankees, and surprise, surprise, favorite player, Derek Jeter. That would make a lot of sense. Grounds this one on the left side, routine play, but Andrew Alvarez beats it out. And that's something we've seen him do over the last few days. We've seen a lot of speed out of the big 6'4", 230-pounder. That is the third infield single that he has run out in the last 3 games. So Alvarez reaches as Varela advances to second base. And up comes A.J. David. And this is a guy that you want to see up at the plate with 2 men on and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. His team, A.J. David's team, trailing by 2 runs. A.J. David, guy who had 43 RBI this season as a sophomore. Pickoff throw over to second base, and they nailed Varela. Varela gets caught off second base on a pickoff, and that is not what you want to see if you're the Pirates or a Pirate fan, because A.J. David is a very, very good power hitter, and now you don't get to see if he could have taken advantage of having those 2 runners on. Really, it's kind of almost an unforced error, because normally if you get thrown out, it's at first base. At second base, the guy has to make a whole 180, 360-degree turn. But it happened there, and that'll do it for the 3rd inning. At the end of 3, it remains 2-0 Power on top. And welcome back. We head to the top of the 4th inning. First pitch in there for strike 1 from Jordan Sheffs. And it's 0-1 to Nate Pollock. Nate Pollock 0 for 1 on the day, was struck out looking by Kevin Glom back in the 2nd inning. Kevin Glom going only 2 1/3. Got the quick hook from the manager, Charlie Reynoso, as this one misses outside, and it's 1-1 for Jordan Sheffs. Here's the pitch. Big breaking ball called, strike 2. So 1-2 the count here for Sheffs, as the Pirates trail 2-0. They had 2 men on in the last inning, and this one just misses for a ball. And you never want to get picked off to end an inning, but that's exactly what happened to Channing Varela over at second base. He was well off, a huge lead at second base. They picked him off with a cleanup hitter of all people up at the plate. Called strike 3. Down goes Pollock. So that is the second time he has struck out looking. Of course, 1 to Glom and now 1 to Sheffs. There's 1 down here in the top of the 4th inning. Brandon Gomez at the plate, 0 for 1, ground out to third base. This is going to really show what kind of heart the Pirates have, being down 2-0 to a team like the Power. Fastball low and away, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Jordan Sheffs mentioned his high school records at University High School. He overthrows this one, and it's a ball, and he's going to kind of work on the mound a little bit. He doesn't really like it. But he also volunteers with the Best Buddies program that aids special needs children and received the Shirley Moore Character Award. So another one of these players for the Pirates that not just gets it done on the field, but also done in the classroom and in life as a high character person. Called strike here for Chefs on Brandon Gomez, and it's 3-1. 3-1 offering, swung and bounced foul down the third base line, and it's 3-2. So Chefs fell behind 3-0 and now makes it a full count. Be interesting to see how far, how long Chefs goes. As we mentioned, this is just his second outing, so he's still kind of working his way into it. This one's lifted to straightaway right field, and the outfielder Alvarez has it out there for the second out. So 2 up, 2 down in this inning, and 3 retired in a row for Jordan Chefs. As Zach Sterry comes to the plate, the designated hitter, 0 for 1, flew out to center field. Actually was the cleanup hitter in game 1 and now dropped to the 8 hole in game 2. Here's the pitch. Off-speed pitch, paints the outside corner, strike 1, 0-1 the count. A 1 swung and fouled down the third base line and out of play, and it's 0-2. Normal day here at Pomona in the sense that it's a very warm day and not too much wind now. There's actually a little bit of a breeze earlier on in game 1. This one's bounced up the middle, and actually coming in front of it was Varela, and Varela does not make the play on time. It's going to be an infield single for Sterry. The ball was on the right side of the infield, and it looked like Greg Espinosa was going to try to make a backhanded grab. But Varela cut in front of him and tried to make the throw to first, but to no avail, as Sterry runs it out for a single. And up comes the number 9 hitter, A.J. Young, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. And we have a little bit of a delay because he's a catcher, so he had his catcher gear still on. And he took off the leg gear and now steps into the batter's box. Well, that was a big little hit, if for no other reason, for the Power, that they're going to now turn over the lineup for the next inning. Called strike on the inside corner, 0-1. And so even if you make an out right here, if you're A.J. Young and you're the number 9 hitter and you make an out, you have 1, 2, 3 up in the next inning. So that'll be a big inning for the Power and a major test for Jordan Chefs. Nice pitch in there for called strike 2. Of course, before you get ahead of yourself, you got to get out of this inning, and that's what Chefs is trying to do right here with a 2-strike count. Very, very slender lead taken off first base by Sterry. Here's the pitch. Called strike 3 on the outside corner, and down goes A.J. Young for the second time, and at the end of 3.5 innings, it remains a 2-0 score, Power on top. Welcome back. To the bottom of 4 we go. 2-0 score. Power on top of the Pirates. A.J. David at the plate, the cleanup hitter. Takes high and away, ball 1. If you remember back in the 3rd inning, A.J. David was actually up with 2 men on base, and Channing Varela was picked off second. 1-0 Swan, and this one's driven a mile high behind home plate. Will it be playable? No, it will make its way out of play and into the stands here at Cal Poly Pomona, about 5 rows up, directly behind home plate. 1-1 the count. 4, 5, 6 in the lineup is A.J. David, George Ortega, and Anthony Virgin. Virgin had a line drive to left field in his first at-bat. Another towering fly ball, and this one might make its way foul, but it will be playable, and the outfielder out there, Howarth, makes the grab for the first out of the inning. So 1 up, 1 down here for the Pirates. In the bottom of the 4th as George Ortega comes up to the plate. Ortega 0 for 1, grounded out to the shortstop. 5'10", 190, major in criminal justice. talk a lot about how he won that NAIA World Series with Lewis and Clark, breaking pitch in the dirt, and it's 1-0. But before that, he went to Rio Hondo Community College and put up very, very good numbers for them and was an all-conference selection. Bounces this one a mile high, and the first baseman ranging deep towards the grass, and now flips it underhand over towards Chris to make the out. I say a mile high. I mean, that thing bounced really high. And then, as we mentioned, the first baseman making the grab pretty much on the edge of the infield dirt and the outfield grass, flips it over to the pitcher Brooks, who was covering for the second out. And here comes Virgin. Anthony Virgin, 1-for-1 single. Here's the pitch. High and in, ball 1. So Anthony getting the start here in this game. Nathan getting the start in the last game. Here's the pitch, and this one's high and in, 2-0. This was the kind of at bat he had actually in his first at bat, where the pitcher Brooks fell behind. Fastball foul tipped, and it's 2-1. And then Virgin was enabled to really swing at a fastball pitch that he was waiting on and drive it out in the left field. This time he foul tips it off the catcher's mask, and it's 2-2. As the on-deck hitter, Michael Johnson will pick up that ball behind the backstop. Here comes the 2-2, breaking pitch low and away, and it's 3-2. Full count. 2-0 the score. Powers on top. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung and lasered into right field for his second base hit and as many at-bats today. So Anthony Virgin now 2 for 2. One to left, one to right. What's he going to do next time? Hit one up the middle to center? Well, I guess we'll find out later on. Here comes Michael Johnson, 0 for 1, grounded out to the shortstop. Pirates had a little bit of a two-out rally going in the last inning, if you remember. Fastball swung, and this one is hit kind of off the hands. Easy ground ball for the shortstop, Burcham, who flips it over to Nielsen for the force out at second base to end the inning. And at the end of 4 full innings of play, it remains 2-0 Power on top of the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back to the top of the 5th inning we go. Dave Sobera on the play-by-play. So glad you could join us wherever you may be on InlandValleyBaseball.com. As Jordan Sheffs delivers, and it's laid down the third base line foul by the leadoff hitter, Burcham. So it's now 0-1 to him. If you remember, he actually led off the third inning with a walk and wound up scoring on an RBI single by Jake Howarth. Swings at this one and drives it up the middle. Ranging to the middle is Varela, and Varela tries making a crazy play. And it gets past the first baseman, but Lowenstein, the catcher, hustling all the way down the first base line, backed it up, so the runner will not be able to advance in the second base. So nice job of hustling by Lowenstein, as that'll be a single. It was hit right up the middle, and Varela tried to make a crazy play, though. But Lowenstein basically saves the error because the runner did not advance after the throw. He reached first with the hit. Here's Hayden Nielsen, 1 for 2, single run scored. Breaking pitch in the dirt, ball 1. 1-0 the count. Well, we said in the last inning that that base hit by the number 8 hitter was very important, if for no other reason than to start with your leadoff hitter in the 5th. And he promptly singles up the middle. And now you have Hayden Nielsen ahead on the count, 2-0. Here's 2-0, the runner's off, and this one is bounced right in front of home plate. Sheffs will barehand it and fire over to A.J. David at first to record the first out of the inning. 1-3 on the putout. The runner advancing up into second base is Burcham, who's now in scoring position, and the Power hoping to take the same 3-0 lead that the Pirates enjoyed back in game 1. Jake Howarth at the plate. with another chance at an RBI. Had the RBI single in the third inning. Was also hit by a pitch, so Jake Howarth reaching base both times in his plate appearance in Game 2. Howarth is a very, very good player. This is hit a mile high to deep left center field. The center fielder will not make the catch, and the throw is going to come into Varela. The runner at second only advances to third base as Howarth makes it all the way to second on the error by Michael Johnson. It was hit very far and to left center field, but Johnson was there, and it was a play that I'm sure he would tell you should make. And now the Power are in business again. They have runners in scoring position, runners on second and third, Howarth at second, and Bertram at third after that error. And up comes the big 6'5" righty Hunter Benning. Benning has also reached both times today. He reached on a single in the first and a fielder's choice in the third inning that also had an error attached to it. This is another fly ball to shallow center field, and actually the second baseman Espinosa will make the catch about 3 feet deep on the outfield grass. So that'll be the second out here in the fifth inning. Still runners on second and third with 2 outs. 2-0 to score. Power on top. Jordan Zimmerman at the plate. He has grounded out twice. Jordan Chefs will try to get out of this little mini jam here. Of course, there was the error, so the run, if they came in, would be unearned. But obviously he wants to keep them off the board, and this one is called a strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count. Well, as we mentioned, it's nice to be basically sending out all Division I pitchers like the Pirates have done today, and Andrew Alvarez, Kevin Glom, and now Jordan Chefs. Nice breaking pitch, no chance for the hitter, and it's 0-2. Zimmerman falls behind. See Zimmerman playing third base, you think of Ryan Zimmerman, the Nats third baseman. Fastball bounced to the right side, right back at Espinosa, and Espinosa has it under control and fires to David for the final out. So we are halfway through this game, and the score is 2-0 Power on top of the Pirates. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. To the bottom of 5 we go. Dylan Lowenstein swings at the first pitch he sees, a 2-hopper over to the second baseman Nielsen, who fires to first base for the first out in the bottom of the 5th inning. So 1 pitch, 1 out for the Pirates. As Greg Espinosa, the number 9 hitter, will step up to the plate. He's 0 for 1, flew out to right field. Actually hit a line drive to right field, and if I'm not mistaken, that was another first pitch out for the Inland Valley Pirates. On deck is Reynoso. Squaring around, now letting it go is Espinosa, but it's called a strike anyways, and it's 0-1 to Greg. 2-0 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. Bottom of the 5th inning. Breaking pitch called strike 2, and it's 0-2. So Espinosa quickly falls behind to Brooks Kursk. Kirk's still on the mound for the Power. Throws this breaking pitch in the dirt, and it's 1-2. Well, you see it time and time again, and even though Espinosa falls behind 0-2, he is a very disciplined hitter at the plate. Usually goes deep in counts. 1-2, breaking pitch low. When you talk about good plate discipline, you know it comes with a good eye at the plate. A lot of hitters might go fishing on that last pitch, but Espinosa knew right away it was a ball and took it. Your 2-2 swung on and fouled out of play down the first base line. So we'll do it again. Another 2-2 to come. 6th pitch of the at-bat to Espinosa. And if Espinosa can get on base, you're in business with the top of the order. Fastball swung on and lifted into right field. Shallow right field. Will it get down? Yes, it does for a base hit. And Espinosa does exactly that. Turns it up to the top of the lineup, and he gets on base. And we talk about it so often that really a number 9 hitter is an extension of a leadoff hitter. Usually with a lot of speed, makes good contact with the baseball, and that's exactly the type of hitter Greg Espinosa is, as Matthew Reynoso, he comes up to the plate. Reynoso 0 for 2, flew out to third base and lined out to short. He tried to bunt for a hit there and fouled it down the third base line. I think he tried doing that in another at-bat in this game, too. Not a bad idea. He does have very quick speed. And if he could have gotten it kind of... No, now they're just trying to sacrifice, and he will bring it back as the fastball misses well outside, 1-1 the count. So maybe Matthew Reynoso trying to play some mind games with the pitcher, Chris. Espinosa takes his lead. It's a pretty big lead off first base, actually. And this one misses low for ball 2, 2-1 the count. But it was one of those one-way leads where Espinosa, all of his weight was on his left leg. In case there was a pickoff attempt, he'd be sliding back to the bag. As we mentioned, top of the lineup up. This is Reynoso, and Varela is next. Another fastball high and away. So Reynoso, like Greg Espinosa, falling behind. And like Espinosa now he's up 3-1. So now it's a hitter's pitch here. He fell behind 0-1. Fastball taken all the way by Reynoso, and it's a full count. That was a really good location on the fastball, low and away. A big moment's right here. If you can get on base if you're Reynoso, the Pirates might be in business. As the pitcher Brooks steps off the mound. Brooks Kursk from USC comes set. Here's the full count offering. The runner's off, swung on and fouled back over the screen. So another payoff pitch to Reynoso. So Reynoso set to see his 7th pitch after Greg saw 7 himself. Let's see if 7 is the magic number in the 5th inning for the Pirates. Fastball swung on, and this one is fouled back at the screen. As Reynoso was protecting the plate, that probably would have been called a strike because it looked like it was well out of the zone, high and away. But it's better to be safe than sorry. And so Reynoso still in there, now set for his 8th pitch to come. Pickoff throw over to first to no avail for the Power. Bottom of the 5th inning, 1 out. 2-0 the score, Power on top. The Pirates won game 1, 3-2. Espinosa off with a pitch, and once again, Reynoso fouls it off. So Matt is set to see his 9th pitch in what is becoming a marathon at-bat, and he's showing why he is a leadoff hitter. He gets his bat on a lot of things. Protects the plate to the max, really. Well, who's going to flinch between hitter and pitcher? That's the question here. Will it be Brooks, Chris, or Matt Reynoso? Time called for by Greg Espinosa over at first base after he slid in head first over there at first on the pickoff attempt. Talk about it. Nobody's even split with the Power in years, since 2008 in league. And the Pirates have already clinched that. Now the question just is, will they win the season series? Runners off, swung on and driven to the right side over towards the second baseman, who tries flipping it to second. What a questionable decision right there by Nielsen, who was really just a defensive stalwart for the Power back in game 1. And, I mean, this is a play where we mentioned Greg Espinosa is off on the pitch with a full count pitch, and he tries flipping it late over to second, and the shortstop Burcham with a flip. And Espinosa was going to beat that out even if the catch was made over there at short, but the shortstop couldn't catch the ball. And so now you have 2 runners on here and 1 out for the Pirates in the bottom of the 5th inning. Both runners pretty fleet of foot as well. I mean, Espinosa and Reynoso, speedy runners. Here comes Channing Varela. Varela had a single in the 3rd inning and flew out to center field. In his first at bat, he's 1 for 2. Thing that I'm sure he wishes he could take back, as this one misses high and in for ball 1, 1-0 the count, was getting picked off at second base. When he got picked off at second, Pirates were looking for a 2-out rally with A.J. David, the cleanup hitter, at the plate. Really would have liked to have seen what he could have done there, but Varela was picked off. Runners going. It was a hit and run. The ball is in the dirt, and he is dead to rights, is Espinosa at third base. So a tough pitch to try a hit and run on as the ball bounced to home plate. And Varela did whatever he could do to try to make contact with the ball. That'll be the second out here in the 5th inning for the Pirates. Breaking pitch low for a ball. Well, it's kind of interesting you put the hit and run on there because you do have the runners on first and second with 1 out, but the pitcher, Brooks Krisk, has been kind of losing his control all of a sudden, and that would have been another ball. Fastball, called strike. The other reason why it's kind of tough is you got Andrew Alvarez on deck. He would have liked to have seen what he could have done with 2 men on. Of course, Channing Varela still has a chance to knock in a run here on a 2-2 pitch. Swings at this one and lines it over to the third baseman on the 1 hop. Zimmerman fires to first across the diamond and makes the out. And that will do it for the 5th inning. And at the end of 5 innings of play, it remains a 2-0 ball game between the Power and Pirates. Power on top. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. And welcome back. Top of the 6th inning. 2-0 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. Nate Pollock at the plate, 0 for 2 with a couple strikeouts looking. 1 to Kevin Glom and 1 to Jordan Sheffs, who remains on the mound. High and inside, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Jordan Sheffs came in the 3rd inning after Kevin Glom got a really quick hook, swung on and missed 1-1. Glom was pitching pretty well for the first 2 1/3 innings and struck out the first batter in the 3rd and then walked the next one. And then in comes Sheffs, breaking pitch in there on the inside corner. And it's 1-2. Not so certain the way Sheffs walked off the mound there. He thought that was a strikeout. Fastball swung on. Takes a bad hop at the last second for Virgin. And Virgin stays calm and fires into first for the first out of the inning. Pretty much it was a roller. Then it hit off the edge of the grass where the grass and dirt meet. Took kind of a weird hop. Virgin showing good reaction time, fielding it. So there's 1 down here in the top of the 6th inning. Brandon Gomez now at the plate. Swings at the first pitch. He sees it, fouls it behind home plate. 0-1 the count to him. He is 0 for 2. Grounded out to third base and flew out to right field. Here's the 0-1, and this one is driven to the left side. Backhanded attempt by Varela, but it gets by him for a hit. So Brandon Gomez now goes to 1 for 3 as Zach Sterry comes up to the plate. Sterry is 1 for 2, singled in the 4th inning, and flew out to center field in the 2nd inning. This is the time of the day where shade starts setting in on the field. Not really actually any shade on the field of play, just kind of in foul territory down the right field line. Shade being generated by the adjacent dormitories for Cal Poly Pomona out there in right field. Towering fly ball, slicing foul, and will the outfielder Reynoso get to it? He tried very hard, but it landed a foot away from the fence out there in left field on the foul side. So it would have been a lot of ground to cover for Reynoso to make any attempt at that. Another thing that causes shade here is the clubhouse for Cal Poly Pomona. That wouldn't be a factor till much later, right before it's nighttime, in Pomona. Probably like an hour away from that being any factor. Ball outside is the call from the home plate umpire, who specified where that one was. Two nothing the score. Power on top. 1 out. Top of the 6th inning. Brandon Gomez is on first base after singling to left field. Runner goes. It's a hit and run, and it works to perfection as the hole was cleared on the right side of the infield with Espinosa covering. Cut off by Varela as the right fielder Alvarez came up throwing towards third base. At first, I thought that was going to be a really big play by Varela because I thought maybe the runner on first would head for second and Varela would be able to throw him out there. But he was held up at first and stayed there. And the Power now with runners on the corners here in the 6th inning as Zach Sterry gets that single and up comes A.J. Young. Young has had a tough go of it in this game 2 of the doubleheader. 0 for 2, a couple of strikeouts. Obviously, Jordan Sheffs and the Pirates are hoping that holds up and maybe he can get a hat trick here of strikeouts. Late kick, and here's the pitch. Swan, and this is lined over to the right side, and Espinosa. He flips it to Varela, and that's even better than a strikeout. That's a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. And Sheffs gets out of another shaky situation. And it's still 2-0 Power on top after 5.5 innings. Cal Poly Pomona. 2-0 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. Bottom of 6. Brooks Chris remains on the mound for the Power, and the first pitch is swung on and fouled by Andrew Alvarez, and it will stay in the field of play. Catch is made out right by the netting by the first baseman Benning. So down goes Alvarez on the first pitch he sees, and here comes A.J. David. A.J. David 0 for 2, a strikeout and a flyout to left field. Hit a towering fly ball to left field, and it was slicing towards the line. But Howitt made the play. First pitch misses low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. So, big inning for the Pirates as Alvarez started things off. It's the 3-4-5 hitters, the heart of your lineup. Swings at this one. This is lifted to deep right field, and running back in it. This one could be gone. No, it's a one-hopper to the wall. David heading towards second, and now running second and headed into third. He will slide feet first and has a triple for the Pirates, as that was really some good contact by David. And we talked about how Nolan Henley in the first game blasted a home run down the left field line. And this one, the right center, was hit just as well as that. In fact, you know, in the power alleys, obviously it's got to travel farther to get out of the park. That was a really nice hit by A.J. David, who's now standing 90 feet away from cutting the deficit in half from 2 runs to 1 run. And this pitch is called a strike. And once again, we have the infield playing on the grass, the infield grass. So once again, the Power trying to deny a run of any kind to come. George Ortega takes strike 1, is 0-1. Bounces it through the hole on the left side, and in comes a run to score. It's 2-1. The Pirates get one back here on an RBI single by George Ortega. So, Pirates getting back in this game. Well, they were still in the game, obviously, at 2-0, but now they're just that much closer as they inch another run closer, and it's 2-1. Time called for by Charlie Reynoso, who will talk to Anthony Virgin, who's been having a very, very good day. Anthony Virgin, 2 for 2 in this game. And we're going to have a pinch runner for George Ortega. So, manager Charlie Reynoso sensing that this is a huge run right here, putting in Fernando Escobar to run. And Fernando Escobar, we talked about him. He is a very, very speedy leadoff type of hitter. And he led off in the first game today. Did a very good job for the Pirates, as he always does, both in the field and leading off. Reached base a couple of times in that first game. Also hit a liner out into center field. as this one's called a strike and it's 0-1 to Anthony Version. He hit that liner in his last at bat. That initially off the bat I thought it was going to be a base hit. It would have scored a couple runs. 0-1 misses high, and it's 1-1 to Anthony Version, the anthropology major from Citrus College. A lot of players on the Pirates as well as the Buccaneers played for Citrus College, or will play for Citrus College, or did play for Citrus College. You've got, as I'm saying, you've got some that are going to be freshmen next year for the Bucks at Citrus, and you have some that were at Citrus like Johnny Reynoso, who are now moving to West Texas A&M, and now you have Anthony Version, who will be a sophomore there next year. Runners off with the pitch, swung on and fouled, back over the screen, and over into the parking lot. 1-2 the count to Version. Mentioned Anthony is 2 for 2 in this game. A line drive single to left field and a line drive single to right field. I pondered whether or not maybe he would hit this one up the middle in his last at bat after he had one to left and one to right. Fastball high and away, 2-2 the count. Well, really what the Pirates have done to get back in this game is just show off pretty much their high baseball IQ and just let the pitcher work. Wear that pitcher down. See a lot of pitches. And hope that he makes a mistake. Fastball swung, and this is a high fly ball to shallow left center field. Coming in on it and making the catch is the center fielder Pollock, and he made that catch maybe about 5 feet away from the infield dirt. That's how long it hung up. Here comes Michael Johnson. Michael Johnson 0 for 2. Couple groundouts to the shortstop. Well, Jordan Jeffs has been very, very good ever since entering in the third inning. In the third inning, he inherited one runner, so that run was charged to Kevin Glom, and there was a second run that scored on an error. So neither one of those runs charged to Jeffs. The first one being charged to Glom. The second one, well, I guess is charged to Jeffs, but it's not an earned run, I should say. So he has been very, very good for the Pirates, allowing them this opportunity to get back in the game. 0-1 the count as a fastball is called for a strike to Michael Johnson. Here's the 0-1 pitch, squaring around and trying to lay one down is Johnson, and he fouls it and is now 0-2. It's another situation where the Pirates may be trying to catch the third baseman over there, Zimmerman, napping, because on a 2-out situation, you normally don't try to bunt. Here's the 0-2. Swung and fouled straight back at the screen, and it's going to remain 0-2. On deck is Dylan Lowenstein, the catcher, and in the hole is Greg Espinosa, the second baseman, should the Pirates put together a few hits. Pirates hoping to get that big hit here in the 6th inning, but still only the 6th. Still plenty of time. 3 more at-bats after this inning for the Pirates to take advantage of and try to just have one more run cross the plate and tie the game up. Obviously, you want 2 more runs to win the game. Fastball swung and lifted down the right field line down drive, and that will land fair. Michael Johnson rounding first, headed into second, and now headed into third is Escobar. Rolls up there. It looked like Charlie Reynoso was almost considering sending Escobar, as when the throw came into second base, Charlie kind of hopped around that third base line, but Escobar was slowing up at third all the way. But here you go, just like that, runners in scoring position, 2 of them. Michael Johnson with the double down that right field line. And now Escobar, who came in to pinch a run for George Ortega, who had the RBI single, is at third base. Here's Dylan Lowenstein, the catcher. 0 for 2, struck out and grounded out. Dylan Lowenstein, also a thespian. He actually has an agent and has been in commercials. Fastball overthrown, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Said he's been in a couple fast food commercials, including a McDonald's commercial. Hometown Chino Hills, and went to Chino Hills High School. Here's the 1-0. In the dirt, 2-0. Nice job by the catcher right there, Young, A.J. Young, making sure that didn't get to the backstop, because if that had gotten past him, there was a very, very good chance that Escobar would have scored the tying run. 2-0 the count. This is a pitch to take advantage of for the Pirates, if you can. Fastball swung on, grounder to the right side, two-hopper over to the second baseman, Nielsen, and he fires the first for the final out. So the Pirates threaten. They score 1 run, but can't get the tying run. But they do pull within 1, and it's 2-1 at the end of 6 full innings of play at Cal Poly Pomona. We'll head to the top of the 7th inning. 2-1 the score. Here's the pitch. Called strike on the inside corner. 0-1 the count to Burcham. Burcham is 1 for 2 with a run scored. Comes inside again and misses this time, and it's 1-1 for Jordan Sheffs. Well, Jordan Sheffs, we talked about it, came in the 3rd inning and has been very, very good for the Pirates. Called strike 2 on the outside. So Sheffs mixing it inside and outside here to the leadoff hitter, Burcham. Burcham has actually led off every single inning he's hit in, and this time he lines it in the left field for a base hit. So the Power are in business in the top of the 7th inning with a leadoff man on board. And up comes Hayden Nielsen. Nielsen's 1 for 3 with a run scored in this game. Couple ground outs. Both runs being scored in the 3rd inning. Kevin Glom struck out the first hitter in that inning and then had 1 walk and was taken out, and in came Sheffs. Here's the pitch. Squaring around and fouling it is Nielsen, so it's 0-1 here. Well, for the Power, they want to just try to put together any insurance runs they possibly can have. We saw it in Game 1 of the doubleheader that the Pirates continued to chip away and add a run here and there. And they needed them because they ended up holding on 3-2. This one is bounced to the right side over to Espinosa, and Espinosa will fire to first base for the first out of the inning. It was a slow roller, and it was taking him away from the bag at second base, so there was no sense in trying to risk throwing the ball over to second base. Actually, a mistake that the Power made earlier in this game, and the second baseman, Nielsen, who just grounded out, as a matter of fact, instead of just going to first and taking the guaranteed out, tried to go to second and then made an error. So that's the first out here as Jake Howitt steps up to the plate. Howitt has reached base all 3 times, once on an error, once on an RBI single, and another time on a hit by pitch. Late kicking, here's the pitch. Fastball high and in, ball 1, 1-0 the count. So the Power have Burcham on second base. They are hoping to extend this back out to 2 runs. Meanwhile, Sheffs is going to try his best to prevent that from happening, of course. Here's the pitch from him. Called strike on the inside. Well, these pitchers for the Pirates have been really good today. 1-1 the count here for Sheffs. But even Kevin Glom, you end up giving up the run, and it ends up being charged to him as an earned run. Here's the pitch from Sheffs. Ooh, just misses, and it's 2-1. But this is a team who offensive fireworks are the norm for them. And in pretty much 2 full games now, getting close to 2 full games, only have plated 4 total runs, 2 of them coming in the ninth inning when they trailed by 3 in game 1. Here's the pitch. Swung on, lifted into shallow center field. Michael Johnson has it for the second out. And up comes Hunter Benning. Hunter Benning is 1 for 3. Singled in the first, reached on the error in the third inning, and flew out to second base in his last at-bat. Talked about Hunter Benning, but he is as big of a hitter as we've seen for any team out here. Just not necessarily the height, but yes, he's very tall as well at 6'5", but also kind of the muscle and body frame. High and in, ball 1, 1-0 the count. Should Chefs get out of this unscathed, Pirates are going to send up a really good part of the lineup in the next inning. Chefs double checks over at second base, and this is a fly ball foul and out of play behind home plate. That very good part of the order is starting with Greg Espinosa, the number 9 hitter, and then you go back to the top of the lineup. But as we talked about Greg Espinosa, he's basically like a leadoff hitter already. So that's why it's a really, really good part of the lineup. The bottom of the 7th due up for the Pirates. Meanwhile, Chefs fires, swung on, and once again fouled out of play behind home plate towards the first base side. So 2 in a row fouled out there. Lowenstein will call for time and meet Chefs at the pitcher's mound. Obviously discussing the exact pitch they want to come with here. Now, this is another game where there's been a few chances for the Pirates to really score a couple runs, and they couldn't come through. Still, obviously, only 2-1 to score. Still 3 more at-bats to come. Pirates will still have plenty more chances. Here's the 1-2 from Jordan Chefs. The runner's off, and this one is fouled once again for the 3rd consecutive time by the hitter Hunter Benning. The Power aren't really used to this. They're not really used to being shut down like this, even though they're leading 2-1 here. In 2 consecutive games on the same day, to only have 4 total runs is something that Palm Springs pretty much never has. Runner's off again, and this one's bounced to the left side. Varela deep in the hole, fires, not in time. That'll be an infield base hit. The runner stayed at third base, didn't try to score. That's Burcham. And so the big Hunter Benning with the infield base hit. It was a high 2-chopper over to the left side. And Varela, as we mentioned, deep in the hole, pretty much straddling the infield dirt and the outfield grass. Tried firing, but couldn't in time. And here comes Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman 0 for 3, 3 groundouts. Strike 1 in at the knees, and it's 0-1. So obviously, Jordan versus Jordan here. And Jordan Chefs is the man that we want to win, the man in the red. Here's the pitch. Fastball, strike 2. 0-2 the count. So Chefs gets ahead of the hitter, Jordan Zimmerman. Zimmerman, as we mentioned, 0 for 3, 3 groundouts. We'll take any out here. The runner goes, and the throw is going to be made to first. Now the runner is coming home, and the tag is made, and the run is awarded to the Power. Wow. The tag was made in between first and second, and the pitcher and first baseman A.J. David are appealing to the base umpire, and now out comes Charlie Reynoso, but there is no way he's going to win this argument as they picked off the runner, and that is what ends up costing the Pirates another run. So it's now 3-1 on a play that is really tough for the Pirates, especially because there's a 1-2 count. And I think Chefs may have been able to get the hitter out himself. But that'll be it for the top of the 7th. And it's 3-1 now, Power on top of the Pirates, and it's time to stretch for the second time at Cal Poly Pomona. And welcome back to Scalinos Field on the campus of Cal Poly Pomona. 3-1 the score, Power on top of the Pirates after Jordan Sheffs had the runner at first picked off, and then he was caught in a rundown, and the runner on third base ends up scoring before the tag is applied. Well, we talk about it, but you can't really afford mistakes like that. I mean, obviously it's not an error, but to some extent you might consider it a mental error. When you see the guy from third base running home, you have to throw it home. Mitch Blumen is the new pitcher for the Power. This one is lifted foul down the first base line by Espinosa. 0-1 the count to him. Mitch Blumen from San Diego State University obviously has a heavy heart considering his manager Tony Gwynn passed away from cancer recently. Ball 1-1 the count. It's got to be something very tough to deal with for the manager of your team to pass away. Inside, ball 2-1 the count. Blumen's a guy from what I remember from last season seeing him that he can really have A-plus stuff, or he can get pretty wild. So the Pirates are going to do all they can to see a lot of pitches, and it's now 3-1. So 3 of his first 4 pitches are balls to Espinosa. We talked about it in Espinosa's last at bat. He's a really, really good hitter, specifically with that strike zone. He knows exactly where the strike zone is. Great plate discipline. Swings at this one, it bounces it up the middle, ranging over in front of the second baseman was the shortstop, but it doesn't matter as Espinosa will beat it out for an infield hit. That was the same thing that happened actually with Espinosa at second base, and Varela went in front of him and tried to make the play. In this sense, it's Nielsen who was the second baseman and Burcham who cut in front of him, but to no avail. So Espinosa leading things off in style with a hit up the middle, trying to get a rally going for the Pirates in the bottom of the 7th inning. Squaring around and laying one down the first base line is Matthew Reynoso. Reynoso is thrown out, but the sacrifice is executed by Reynoso. That would have been huge if that third run didn't score in the 7th inning, because now you would add the game-tying run in scoring position. But the Pirates will have to find a way to score 2 runs now here in Game 2. Up comes Channing Varela, and we're going to have Nathan Virgin on deck to replace Andrew Alvarez. Nathan's brother Anthony having a very, very good game, 2 for 3 here in this game. Blumen checks the runner at second, comes way inside, gets past the catcher, and he's going to throw down to third base. Staying up on his feet is Espinosa on the wild pitch. So now Espinosa just 90 feet away from cutting the deficit in half. Espinosa having a really good day altogether in both games. Had an RBI and a run scored in Game 1. Looking to score one more run here in Game 2, and is 2 for 3 in Game 2. Corner infielder's in. Swung on. And foul down the right field line, out of play. It's another situation right here that calls for a fly ball to the outfield if he can do it. 1 out and a runner on third late in the game. Of course, if you can get a base hit, you'd take that, obviously, over the fly ball. But really, you just want to hit the fly ball, and maybe you just want to get the ball in play. And Varela can't do it on this one as he swings and misses, and that's strike 2. But if you can bounce it up the middle or somewhere, we've seen some high choppers in this field. Just get the ball in play. Now, hopefully the run will score. 1-2 the count, though, so Varela's going to have to protect the plate. Here's the 1-2. Swung on, fly ball to shallow right field, and the second baseman is actually going to catch it. Espinosa bluffing over there at third base, and Nielsen will run it in on the fly out to the second baseman, Nielsen. That is the second out here in the bottom of the seventh inning, and up comes Virgin. So the first replacement in either game, really, for the Pirates, at least hitting-wise, and the only other replacement in game one was Alvarez went to first base after he was done pitching, and A.J. David came in to close it out. Kyle Jackson going to the bench in that scenario. So this is the first pinch hitter Pirates have sent out all day, Nathan Virgin. Virgin comes in for Andrew Alvarez. A.J. David will remain in. He's on deck. Pitch misses low for ball one. It was a breaking pitch, 1-0 the count. Nathan Virgin was 2 for 3. Couple singles, runs scored, a couple stolen bases, and a walk in game one. So had a really, really good game one against a really good team in the Palm Springs Power. It looked like it was pretty much the same pitch, and this time it's actually called a strike, and it's 1-1 after the Palm Springs dugout was complaining about the previous one not being called a strike. Left-handed pitcher, right-handed hitter. 1-1 the count. 3-1 the score. Swings at this one and fouls it, and it's now 1-2. Well, this is something that Anthony, Nathan's brother, has been very good at in this game, getting ahead of the count, whereas now Nathan is behind 1-2. But it only takes one swing of the bat to potentially score Greg Espinosa here. Of course, you can't sacrifice now that there are 2 outs. Here's the pitch from Blumen. Way inside. Ball 2. 2-2 the count. And Blumen has the tendency to do that here in this first inning. He's coming way inside the right-handed hitters as left-handed pitchers, showing them those kind of slider-type pitches that try to start in the middle of the plate and then work their way out of the zone. 2-2 offering. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. Virgin did not like that, and the Power did, obviously, with a loud cheer from the third base dugout. And down go the Pirates here in the 7th inning. And at the end of 7 innings of play, it remains 3-1. Power on top of the Pirates. We head to the top of the 8th in a 3-1 ball game. Power on top of the Pirates. Aaron Reynoso is the new pitcher who comes in and replaces Jordan Sheffs, who went 4 2/3 innings pitched for the Pirates. Squaring around and laying one down the third base line towards Virgin. Virgin tries to barehand it and will not be able to make the play in time. So that'll be a bunt base hit for Jordan Zimmerman. And the Power have their leadoff man on base once again. That is something they did back in the 7th inning. And that was the leadoff hitter, Burcham, who had the single and then ended up scoring. And if you remember, he ended up scoring on a play where Jordan Sheffs actually picked off the runner at first. And then he was caught in a rundown, as it looks like Aaron Reynoso might be a bit injured. No, maybe not. He just had a wristband or something that he needed somebody to take away, and that somebody's Taylor Valentine, the SCCBL Pitcher of the Year in 2013. Of course, he is out this summer because he is rehabbing from an injury. Reynoso came set in the stretch for a really long time. Then time was called for by the hitter, Nate Pollock, at the last second. 0-3 the count. Or 0-3 is the number for Nate Pollock today. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a ground ball out to Virgin, the third baseman. Here's the pitch from Reynoso. Fastball misses low. Once again, coming set for a long time before coming home to the plate. Well, Aaron Reynoso has been really good for the Pirates so far this season. Has not allowed a run in 11 2/3 innings pitched. Here is the fastball, bunted over towards Reynoso. He charges and fires a bouncer to A.J. David, and David couldn't dig it. So that'll be an error on Reynoso. And now the first two men are on board here in the 8th inning with Brandon Gomez at the plate. Gomez 1 for 3, singled in the 6th inning, flew out to right field and grounded out to the third baseman in his first at bat. In the first base dugout, a couple of the players on the bench are kind of loosening up, warming up the sticks a little bit, I would say. Fernando Escobar will remain in the DH spot, it looks like, who he replaced George Ortega, if you remember, as a pinch runner. So he's going to stay in the DH spot. And also Christian Kelly has a bat. I don't know if he'll come in or not. Fastball, called strike 1, 0-1 the count here. But we mentioned that it's been a really well-pitched day altogether by both sides. Of course, Andrew Alvarez was a story in the first game. And then Kevin Glom started this game off, only went 2 1/3. Foul ball behind home plate. Lowenstein trying to chase it, but won't get to it on time. And after striking out the first hitter in the 3rd inning, he walks the second hitter. And then comes Jordan Sheffs. Sheffs really kept the Pirates in the game. Only allowed 1 unearned run before that 3rd run came in the last inning on a play that if they had tagged the runner out, the run would not have scored. Here's the pitch from Reynoso. Swung on. Towering fly ball to right field. Question is, will the runner on second try to tag? And no, he was not trying to tag, as it was hit pretty short over to Virgin, who came in and replaced Alvarez in the last inning as a pinch hitter. So that'll be the first out in the top of the 8th inning. Pirates won't play again until Thursday when they take on the Buccaneers in their 3rd game of the season series, or 3rd game of the SCCBL season series. They had played 3 other games that didn't count in league play. And the Buccaneers will take the field tomorrow in a game that we'll have live on our air. Here's the pitch, swung on, and this is, I said the last one was a towering fly ball. This is way higher and in the infield, and the shortstop Varela makes the catch. Infield fly rule was called by the umpire in between second and third base. So that's the second out here in the inning. Wait, that's the first out. That's the second out. So the second out here with 2 runners on. After giving up a single and then an error, Reynoso retires the next 2. Up comes A.J. Young, the number 9 hitter in the lineup. Swings at this one and hits a roller over towards the shortstop Varela. Varela fields cleanly and fires down the line, but the tag will be made by A.J. David. And that is the 2nd or 3rd time he's actually done that today. Shown off some good defense over there at first base. And that is the end of the inning. And at the end of 7 1/2, it remains 3-1, Power on top. You're listening on InlandValleyBaseball.com. Mitch Blumen in for his 2nd inning of work. The southpaw from San Diego State going against A.J. David, the cleanup hitter in the Pirates lineup. Nice slider of the backdoor variety in there for strike 1, 0-1 the count. David didn't really like the call. Remember, David had the triple to right center field in his last at-bat and scored on a George Ortega RBI single to the left side. 1-1 the count as the slider missed outside, and it's 1-1 as we just mentioned. On deck is Escobar. Escobar came in as a pinch runner for George Ortega. Slow off-speed pitch, swung on and fouled back by David, and it's 1-2. It's interesting because you have Escobar, who's usually a leadoff hitter, now right in the middle of the lineup in the number 5 spot. Here's the pitch. Swung on, Fly ball foul down the third base line. So we'll do it again. Another 1-2 to come. 4, 5, 6 in the lineup is where we are. As we just mentioned, Escobar will be the 5 hitter. Came in for Ortega. Number 6 hitter is Virgin. High and in. Ball 2. 2-2 the count. Anthony Virgin at bat. Started 2 for 2 and then flew out to center field. He's the man in the hole. Also standing in anticipation is Johnny Reynoso. And this is a fly ball hit directly behind home plate, a couple feet behind the catcher who makes the catch. So A.J. Young retires the first batter here in the 8th inning. Pirates down to their final 5 outs, trailing by 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning. It was the Power who scored 2 in the second, 2 in the third, I should say. Here's the pitch from Blumen, and it misses low for ball 1 to Escobar. They scored 2 in the third. Pirates finally answering with 1 in the 6th, and then the Power getting 1 more in the 7th, and that's where we stand 3-1. Another fly ball. We're having lots of really high-flying fly balls, and this one is to the catcher again. And A.J. Young, for the second consecutive batter, makes the catch. I mean, you don't see very many flyouts to the catcher in general over the course of a game, and to get 2 in a row is something pretty surprising there. So down goes Fernando Escobar, and Anthony Virgin comes up to the plate. We were talking about when he was in the hole. He's 2 for 3. Actually started 2 for 2, and before flying out to center field in his third at bat, tries to bunt for a hit and fouls it to the right side. He had a line drive to left field and a line drive to right field. That was his 2 singles. The one to left field was really cranked. One to right field had a little bit more air on it, but it was placed right down the line. Swings and misses at this off-speed pitch. That was a really nice pitch from Blumen. And well out in front of it was Virgin. So the Pirates now down to their final 4 outs here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Hoping to maybe take advantage of a 2-out rally in the 8th inning. This pitch misses outside for a ball. 1-2 the count to Anthony Virgin. On deck is Michael Johnson. Low, ball 2, 2-2 the count. Well, these guys had a little something going earlier in the game. We mentioned Virgin with the 2 hits, and Johnson in his last at-bat had the double. To see if they could put it together here. Another off-speed pitch outside, ball 3. Virgin fighting back after being down 0-2. Now full count. Michael Johnson anxiously awaiting on deck. Here is the full count pitch. Swung on and driven to the left side, and it'll be a 2-hopper over to the third baseman, Zimmerman. And Zimmerman throws to first for the final out of the 8th inning. So at the end of 8 full innings of play, it's still 3-1. Power on top of the Pirates. Welcome back. 3-1 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. We are headed for the top of the 9th inning. This could be the last inning of play unless the Pirates tie it up in the bottom half of the inning. Ryan Romero, the new pitcher, fires in there for strike 1 to leadoff hitter Burcham. And would you believe it? Burcham and his 5 plate appearances has led off every single inning. Gets this off the edge of the bat over to Espinosa, who makes the routine play to David for the first out. So I don't know how many times that's happened, and I'm sure it's happened before, but to lead off 5 innings is quite unusual. The ultimate leadoff hitter in Game 2 was Burcham. And Burcham also scored 2 of the 3 runs as well. So that's really getting it done out of that top spot in the lineup. Here's Hayden Nielsen. Nielsen 1 for 4 with a single and a run scored. Called strike and it's 0-1 to him. Ryan Romero, 6'5", 190, from San Francisco State, one of 4 Gators on this team. Slow roller over to the third baseman Virgin. He double clutches and fires for the second out of the inning. So a couple ground balls for Romero, who had a really good 5 innings pitched against the Buccaneers on Saturday. One of the few players on the Pirates really actually who isn't from Southern California. He's from Nampa, Idaho, and went to Columbia High School out there. And Charlie's going to go to the bullpen. So Romero comes in and gets 2 batters out. He gets his job done, and now Brett Early will come in for the final out here. Interesting decision, but maybe Charlie Reynoso specifically wants Brett Early to go against Jake Howitt, who has been one of the best players in this league over the past couple seasons. Maybe he just wants pretty much the pitchers that are here to get some playing time against the Power, because they may have to do it again later in the season. But this is a little bit peculiar, as Romero got the first 2 outs pretty easily. Brett Early, of course, a strikeout pitcher for the Inland Valley Pirates, and we've talked about it, but he is a guy that can, when he is on, he is very, very good. In fact, last season he had 30 strikeouts in 23 innings last summer for the Pirates. And this summer, 22 strikeouts in 17 innings. So well over 1 strikeout per inning is Brett Early. Both summers. And it's the same at the University of Laverne, where he tossed 48 1/3 this year and struck out 50. The question sometimes, though, with Brett Early is the consistency. He's a really high-intensity guy. And although he gets a lot of strikeouts, sometimes he has the chance to maybe lose it temporarily. I mean, and if you remember, against the Buccaneers, he started one of those games and went 4 2/3 innings pitched and had 9 strikeouts. And I'm pretty sure at that point he hadn't allowed a hit. Maybe he had allowed 1 hit at that point. And then all of a sudden, the wheels kind of fell off, and he allowed 3 runs. Or, no, he allowed 1 run, and the bases were loaded, I believe. That's what happened. And Kevin Glom actually got out of that inning with the bases loaded. And the Bucs felt like they could have maybe tied it up. Well, Brett Early is ready for his first pitch to Jake Howitt, and fires high and in for ball 1, 1-0 count. I don't know what it's like for a guy like Brett Early to sit on the bench for 18 innings and then be asked to just retire the last out of the game. Called strike on the outside corner, 1-1 the count. And a situation where it's not to save the game, just to keep it a 3-1 score, and give your team a better chance of coming back and tying or winning in the bottom of the 9th. This one misses for ball 2, and it's 2-1 here to Jake Howitt. Well, if you're wondering, it'll be the bottom of the lineup in the bottom of the 9th for the Inland Valley Pirates. 7, 8, and 9. Ground ball over to the third baseman Virgin on the 1 hop, fires to first, and that'll do it for the 9th inning. So the Pirates get out of it unscathed with 3 consecutive guys retired by 2 pitchers, Romero and Early. As Charlie Reynoso is talking to Early and saying, good job getting that 1 guy you faced out. But we'll head to the bottom of the 9th inning. Pirates trailing by 2. And it'll be Michael Johnson, Dylan Lowenstein, and Greg Espinoza to come. It's the bottom of the 9th inning. 3-1 the score. Power on top of the Pirates. Pirates down their final at-bat. But this one is swung on. Line drive to dead center field. And a nice catch made out there by Pollock. Made sort of a leaping grab as he opened up 180 degrees to his right side. Was on the dead sprint to make that first catch. So there's 1. Pirates now down to their final 2 outs In comes Christian Kelly as a pinch hitter for Dylan Lowenstein. I mentioned Christian Kelly has been very, very good with the bat this season. Breaking pitch in the dirt. 1-0 the count. So in comes Kelly. Espinosa still on deck. This one misses inside, and it's 2-0. Really, when you're trailing by 2 runs in the ninth, the only thing you can ask for is to, basically get one man on base and have the chance to tie up the game. Called strike. 2-1 the count. See if maybe the Pirates are definitely taking first strike in this situation. The entire field now in shade for the most part. Bounce to the left side, deep in the hole. Backhanded grab by the shortstop. And that'll be the second out of the inning as Burcham makes the play. Here comes Greg Espinosa. Espinosa 2 for 3. Singled in his last 2 at-bats in the 7th and 5th innings. And flew out to right field in his first at-bat. And that at-bat was really a line drive to right field. Called strike, 0-1 the count. Espinosa was actually showing bunt. Maybe just trying to entice a ball or throw the rhythm off of the pitcher, Blumen. Swings at this one and lifts it into right field, and that's another base hit. So Espinosa goes 3 for 4 and keeps this game alive for the Pirates with the top of the order to come. That's something obviously he's done the last 2 times up. Leading off the 7th with the single, and then singling back in the 5th with 1 out. Both times trying to get the rally going. Well, the Pirates are looking for a 2-out rally here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Reynoso at the plate, takes strike 1 on the inside corner, 0-1 the count. Pirates had a 2-run bottom of the 9th earlier this year against the East LA Dodgers in this same scenario. There were 2 outs and nobody on base. Bunch of hits in a row, and it ends up being a 2-2 tie, and the East LA Dodgers did not want to finish the game. This one was swung and fouled out of play down the third base line. 0-2 the count to Reynoso, so the Pirates down to their final strike with Matt Reynoso at the plate. Here's the pitch. Swung and driven up the middle for a base hit, and Reynoso now with the single. So the number 9 and 1 hitters are on board, and Reynoso is the tying run at first base with Channing Varela at the plate. So all of a sudden, with 2 outs, Michael Johnson flies out to center, and Christian Kelly comes in to pinch hit and grounds out to short. And the next 2 hitters single. It was Espinosa to right field and Matt Reynoso to center. Here comes Channing Varela. Varela is 1 for 4. Singled in the 3rd. Had a couple flyouts and 1 ground out. Swings at the first pitch he sees, and it's a line drive straight at the second baseman. And so that'll do it as the line drive went straight to Nielsen. And the Pirates will fall 3-1 here in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Pirates end up splitting the 4-game series. They split the doubleheader here today, and also split the 2 games out in Palm Springs that happened on a Tuesday and a Wednesday earlier in the season, back on June 10th and June 11th. So for the Power and Pirates, they will not see each other again until the end of the season, should both teams end up qualifying for the best-of-3 championship series. This season, the number 3 seed will make the playoffs and play in a 1-game playoff against the number 2 seed. So both of these teams have that in mind and know that it's going to be very, very important to win the regular season crown so you don't have to play in that play-in game. As the Power and Pirates will shake hands at home plate. Both teams looking very, very strong. We mentioned that the Pirates, they will now, this is actually only the 2nd game they've lost on their home field, as the Pirates drop to 9-2 on the home field and 13-4-1 overall. Meanwhile, the Power They upped their record to 18-2. Still those 2 losses to Andrew Alvarez, the starting pitcher, for both of those 2 losses. But they are obviously a really, really good team, and you see all the D1 players and talent on their team. But the Pirates, of course, are very, very good as well. And the Pirates, they're going to be off for a couple days before coming back here to play the Buccaneers on Thursday in a league game. And it'll be a very important league game for the Pirates, and really actually for the Buccaneers too. If the Buccaneers want to try to come in 3rd place by the end of the season, they pretty much have to win out. So that game will be live on our air at 5 o'clock on Thursday. But before that, there will be a live game tomorrow. The Buccaneers facing the Rounders at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then we've got Friday off for both teams. And Saturday will be a doubleheader out in San Diego for the Inland Valley Pirates. And for the Buccaneers, there will be a doubleheader at noon here against the Rounders again. So that is kind of what the rest of the week looks like for both the Pirates and the Buccaneers. I'm Dave Sobera. Thanks for joining us for both games of the doubleheader. We really appreciate you listening to the games, and obviously we hope that you enjoyed them. They were 2 very, very good games, and one that the Pirates came on top, and the other one the Pirates just fall. But they were in, obviously, the second game and had a couple of opportunities to come back with the win. So just reminding you, the final score in Game 1 was 3-2, Pirates win. And the final score in Game 2, 3-1, the Power win. And so now, we mentioned the final overall records for both teams, but now the league record for the Power is 4-2, while the league record for the Pirates is 5-3. And Team San Diego still sits on top now at 6-2. But we mentioned this before. Team San Diego hasn't played the Power or Pirates yet, so that's still to come. And we just mentioned, actually, that the Power are playing Team San Diego in San Diego on Saturday. Once again, thanks for joining us, and you have listened on InlandValleyBaseball.com.